Incon here with another Smite Weekly video, guys. We've got a lot to talk about this week, so we're going to jump right into it right after, guys. We talk about that this video was brought to you by the latest Incon shirt, baby. That's right, the Incon University shirt is now available for purchase, and if you're a part of the first 100 orders, guys, you will get the Dragon's Light Sobek skin for free with your order. We've already gone through about half-hour supply, so if you want a chance to get it, guys, make sure you get it real soon. Link will be down in the description, and let's hop into it. The first thing on our list to talk about, guys, is that a very big, very large, and very old-time Smite creator is now officially going to be leaving the Smite scene, guys, and that's going to be Mythymoo. Mythymoo has tweeted out, "I am pretty much done with Smite. It's been fun, and it's given me the opportunity to do what I love, and I'm extremely grateful. There will be a Smite video today, and I might check it in once in a while, but it's time to move on. Much love, gamers. Excited for what's next." This was tweeted about a week ago. Mythymoo basically saying, hey, it was an awesome opportunity, but I've kind of done what I can here. I've got a decent feeling as well that part of the reason why he's leaving is Season 6 not really changing that much. We've talked a bit about Season 6 and how we've kind of called it Season 5.1, where they didn't actually change that much going into the new season compared to prior seasons. And I do think that we're going to see more content creators that are kind of like, well, I just made content for a year on a game and nothing's changed that much, so I'm going to look for other opportunities to kind of express myself creatively. I think we're probably going to see more people maybe look down that path, but I would love to know from your guys' perspective, from the perspective of just maybe regular players, people that don't grind it 100 hours, a week, people are playing every single day. Do you like that less changes were made for Season 6, or would you have preferred more changes as a more casual player? I would love to know your guys' opinion. Next up, guys, we have the SPL Season 6 has been announced, kind of. They haven't really, made a big deal out of it yet, but uploaded to their website. As you can see, they have made the official schedule. They're not really talking about it anywhere. I haven't seen any posts about it, which is kind of weird. But according to the website, the season will start on March 14th and go through October 25th. It's all one giant season this year, which means that your very first game will impact your seeding for Worlds at the very end of the year. So your very first games are just as important as your very last games. All the games, reminder guys, are going to be at LAN this year. So if we look at the schedule, you can see that there's only going to be 2 sets of games per week. And by that, I mean 2 days that the SPL is being played on. You can see that Thursday we will have matches, and on Friday we will have matches. And there's only going to be those games, guys. It looks like there's going to be 2 games each day. So we've got SK versus Pittsburgh here, Dignitas versus Renegades after that, and then on Friday we would have Trifecta versus Luminosity, and then Splice versus Space Station. That means you're looking at 4 SPL games a week, basically, from presumably March 14th through October 25th, not including, of course, any summer breaks or anything like that in between, which there will most certainly be. This is probably subject to change because they haven't super announced it yet, but it's up on the website, so I'm not 100% sure. But I've had a lot of people asking about the SPL, so this is a more generic timeline. You can expect it to start right about March 14th, so hopefully it does. Now for a real bit of exciting news, guys, we have gotten a closer look at the next god coming to Smite. That is going to be Jormun, the World Destroyer, guys. He is going to be your next god added to Smite. We have known this for a while, but we have gotten some nice inside scoops on him in this article, guys. Some of the important stuff is we've gotten some of his theming. So he's going to be massive. He's going to be the largest god in the game ever put into Smite. So the biggest god currently in the game right now is Khepri. He will be larger than Khepri. He also has a unique body type that is anchored to the ground. He's basically going to be coming out of the ground as like a giant snake. Okay. He also, because of this, is going to have some very unique perspectives. There's all this stuff. You want to read this all, I'll have links to everything down in the description. I'm not deleting them on accident this time. You can see a little bit of his design right here, how he's going to be coming out of the ground. But most importantly now, guys, let's take a look at some of his unique gameplay features. Immovability as a passive. He cannot be knocked up, knocked back, grabbed, pulled, banished, vortex, or moved from the battleground in any way because he's a big, beefy boy. Instead of being hit by these effects, he has a weakness effect applied to him, slowing him and causing him to take more damage. So in other words, no moving this man around. You can CC him, you'll be able to root him, stun him, stuff like that, but no CCs that affects his location. He has a new type of basic attack, a persistent cone dragon breath on a charge system. The longer he uses this attack, the weaker it will get, and he will need time to recharge. So some sort of breath-based system. I'm imagining it kind of like Fafnir, if Fafnir's damage basically had a scaling system where it was better to weaker, and then eventually got so weak that you run out of breath. You're like, I'm out of breath. Next up, an intense scale. Because he is huge, this means that actually he may be able to see over walls and things. Because he's so very tall, he blocks up more of the camera, but because of his camera height, he may have the ability to actually see over walls, unlike any other god in the game, which will be very interesting. He's a stealth guardian. I know. I'm not super excited about this. We'll see how it goes. He can submerge himself underground, sneaking up on unsuspecting enemies. We'll see exactly how this works a bit later when we get some more information. Maybe you'll be able to somehow see like the ground moving or something. Maybe some sort of indicator as to where he is. Or maybe he is just straight up under the floor, invisible, unhittable. Who knows? We'll find out in a bit. Anti-stealth, when he is submerged, he can feel the vibrations of enemy gods, revealing them to him, even if they're stealth or hiding behind walls. So he's a stealth guardian and an anti-stealth guardian. And he has deployables. Toxic clouds can be used to zone enemies or be consumed in a variety of ways to synergize and power up his other abilities. So he'll have some sort of ability that deploys some sort of cloud, and then he can somehow consume those clouds to make his other abilities do other things better or different. And he has a semi-global ultimate ability where he grows to his true size and bounds across the world in true arcing serpent fashion. This is all the information, guys, that we have on Jormun right now. Right now, it's all in theory. We've got to kind of put it all together in our heads. But we should have coming up sooner than later, like an official patch notes 6.2. I think will be this upcoming week where we actually get to probably see him as well as other balance changes coming up in the next patch. So there was a little Reddit post that came up this week that was talking about, it was kind of a joke. It said, Thanatos demonic skin request. And in the post it said, if the wings could be a little bit bigger, that would be great. Only about 50% of my vision is blocked, and it would be super sweet if 75% of my vision was blocked. And because we talked about Jormun being this big god that's going to take up a lot of your camera, I thought it was actually a good time to bring up these skins that block your vision. Some of the most common offenders is we've got the tier 5, the Thanatos demonic skin, which is basically a reskin of the tier 5 Thanatos Archon. For those that haven't played it, we've got things like the tier 5 Anubis skin, where in his very last stance he gets those giant wings that pop out. And I wanted to know, what are your guys' thoughts on these skins that block the player perspective, where you're trying to aim your abilities, you're trying to see things, and you can see less because you've got these giant things in your way? For the most part, I tend to like play it by year. Like the tier 5 Anubis skin, I can't use. It's physically impossible. I cannot hit the stun while I use the tier 5 Gooby skin. But like the Archon Demonic Thanatos, I'm actually totally fine hitting Scythe on it. So I wanted to know what your guys' thoughts was. If there's skins that have giant things that block your vision, does that make you less likely to buy the skin? Does it make it less likely for you to use the skin? I would love to know in the comments down below. I thought it was a great topic of discussion. So since we've last talked, guys, Season 6 has officially gone live. And for those that maybe weren't around for the first day or two when Season 6 went live, it had a really bumpy start. I've got a quick clip for you guys here to show you just kind of how everything felt on that day. Nice! I filled in mid. Let's go! No! And so the question that I want to bring on to you guys is, now that Smite has moved into its 6th season, and we've seen something like, let's take Apex Legends, very recently has launched. It has a very smooth day one launch. We're talking 60 FPS plus. We're talking very little to no server lag. Servers weren't crashing. And Smite going into its 6th season, the servers were down basically all of day 1, for a lot of day 2, for like 3, 4, 5, 6 days in a row. The service came down once, twice, 3 times a day. And I wanted to ask you guys, do you think that it's okay for new Smite seasons to launch like this? Do you think it's okay for Smite patches to have their problems? Do you think that it's unavoidable? Or do you think that there's something that needs to be improved upon in the patches? Do you think that, you know, if a new game can launch smoothly, that there's no excuses that Smite shouldn't be able to, you know, go into its 6th year smoothly? I would love to know what you guys have to think. As a player who's trying to make content on day 1, day 2, day 3, trying to help you guys out as much as possible, come out with new fun videos, I'll let you know that as a content creator, it is extraordinarily frustrating that I had an easier time making Apex videos on day 1 than I did making a Smite video on day 1 of its Season 6 patch. So now that Season 6 has gone live, though, and all the kinks are worked out, guys, crossplay is live, cross-progression is live, unless, of course, you're a PlayStation player. PC, Xbox, and Switch are all included. Everybody's together, guys. But if you're PlayStation, you're all on your lonesome. Now, for the PlayStation players out there, I actually don't want you to think that this is because hi-rez doesn't like you guys. It's actually because Sony doesn't like you guys. hi-rez has said that they have got everything laid out on their end technically to launch PS4 into crossplay, but it's actually Sony that's saying, no way, Jose, we're not going to be doing that. And we're starting to see hi-rez get a little bit feisty. We saw the CEO, hi-rez Stu, he is now, you know, taken over since hi-rez stepped down from his kind of lead role, saying, hey, Sony, it's time to stop playing favorites and tear down the cross-play progression wall for everyone. We have Smite, Paladins, and Realm Royale ready to go when you are putting the clip of Mr. Gorbachev tear down this wall from Ronald Reagan. So even the executives at hi-rez are now taking shots at Sony. They're pretty upset that they're not getting PlayStation cross-played into all of their various groups. So for the PlayStation players out there, I want to know your perspective. How would you feel about getting crossplay? Is that something that you want? And for the Xbox players out there, I actually want to know, I've seen various mixed messages from Xbox players. Some Xbox players are saying, yeah, I love being able to crossplay. Some people like saying, oh, Incon, I'm glad I got to play with you. You know, maybe whether it's an assault match or a conquest match, I'm glad I can play with, you know, some of my favorite content creators. But I've also heard other Xbox players say things like, man, honestly, I'm kind of getting my butt kicked by PC players, and I don't feel like it's fair that I'm playing against people on a keyboard mouse. So I'd love to know what the Xbox players specifically feel about that change. Finally, guys, our last little discussion of the day is role queue. We have seen a lot, and I mean a lot of debate over the new role queue system. So for those who don't know, the new role queue system is a system of Smite where no matter what queue you're doing, you pick 2 roles that you would prefer to play. So you're like, hey, I would like to play ADC the most, but if I don't get ADC, I don't mind playing mid. You put in those roles, and the game is going to kind of try to gently push you in that direction of you getting that role. When you log into the game, when you get put into the match, everybody has a role by their name. So it's like, this guy's ADC, this guy's mid. Okay, you didn't get your role, you're soloed this game, blah, 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 right? All 5 roles. So there's been a lot of positive feedback and negative feedback on this role queue. We've seen a lot of negative feedback from pro players really disliking this. You're seeing players that are, you know, kind of one role pros not getting their role because of this new system. The system is, like I said, leaning you toward your role, but it's not a guarantee of getting your role. Compared to the more casual player base, I have seen has really been liking this change. So I would love to know what you guys think about this change, whether you're liking it, disliking it. But I do want to throw in my 2 cents. All I have is my perspective. So I'm going to go in with it. You might not like it. Let me know if you don't like it. That's okay. So here's my thought process. My thought process on the new role queue is I think it is great for casual queues. I think the new role queue system is amazing for casual queues. I love that you can queue up and get a role in casuals, and you're not playing that spam like mid, like hope I get mid, hope I spam as fast as I can, then I can instant lock Merlin as fast as I can. I think that system was terrible, and I think it should have been done away with years ago, and I'm so glad that the role queue system is in place for casuals because that's amazing. Now, where I think role queue should be taken away personally is rank queue. And the reason why I say that is because rank Q actually already has a built-in picking system, right? In casuals, you're all picking at the same time. You could have all 5 people accidentally instant lock mid at the same time, right? But in ranked, it's based on elo order, where you have the number 1 person is the number 1 elo, the number 2 person is the number 2 elo, and then the next 3 people are in a randomized order. So it could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but it could be 1, 2, 5, 4, 3, whatever. Only the top 2 are in the exact elo order. But because there's a picks and ban phase in ranked, it means that the top elo person, the best player on your team, gets their best role. And then your second best player gets their best role, etc., giving you a sense of what role you're playing, because you're like, okay, this guy is a mid player, jungle player, ADC, support, solo, whatever. It already had a built-in role system. And I think that now that there's role queue on top of that, it's adding a lot of confusion to ranked. It's adding a lot of confusion because you've still got sometimes people trying to use the old system because the old system's how it's been for like 6 years, right? And you've got some people trying to be like, well, now we should use the new system, even though it's like, even sometimes nobody got the preferred role really right. It's like, so this guy kind of wanted jungle second, so we got jungle, but he's really a mid player. And this guy really wanted like ADC, but he's really, but he got support. He's like, that's like my second role. So I'm not sold on role queue in a rank setting because there was already a solid picks system in the game. I think it's great for casuals, but I would love to know what you guys think down in the comments. That's it for us today, guys. A nice, big, long Smite Weekly. Hope this helped condense all the information of the last week or two, guys, for you into one solid video. We'll have another one in another week or two, give or take, on how much stuff happens between now and then, guys. Hope you learned something. Please discuss everything down below in the comments. I love and I always read your comments, and I'll definitely be responding back. And don't forget, if you want to get the new Incon University shirt, make sure you check it out down in the description, guys. You got to be one of those first orders if you want to get that free Dragon's Light Sobek skin along with your order, guys. Thank you so much for your support. I could not do this without you. Please enjoy the rest of the Smite and Apex videos for the rest of the week. And as always, have a twitching day, y'all. Thank you for watching the video. If you liked the video, please go ahead and hit the like button. And if you like the channel, go ahead and subscribe and ring that bell, guys, in order to get notifications for our uploads. If you want to go the extra mile to help support the Twitchiest community, you can always go to our Twitch channel at twitch.tv/Incon and use your Twitch Prime sub there. It's a great way to help support the community. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, have a twitching day, y'all.